I mean, we only hope, right? I mean, it was that exact way last time, Jay, at Game 5. Last time these two teams matched up, as Puckett obviously put it, man, like it went all the way down the distance, and it feels like maybe this way could be the total opposite. I don't know, off of the recent series for OpTic Texas, questions are rising. Lots of storylines, as we know, buddy, but for OpTic Texas, man, win and you're into the winner's bracket, lose and, well, you're not.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, man. Lose and you're not going to be in that winner's bracket for your own major. So you got to completely forget about that loss yesterday versus New York. And you got to come out swinging, man. We got to get more discipline when we talk about a team like Atlanta FaZe, because those little mistakes that they were making yesterday, a team like Atlanta will be able to capitalize on it. When you took a look at our map Samosa that that's presented, I thought Atlanta FaZe did a great job of just taking Team B, because that means that they're able to choose that second search and destroy, which is LSilo. It's great. They basically get to choose the control as well, and also the map forward. So I think if you are OpTic Texas, after suffering that difficult loss versus New York yesterday, you have to come out swinging early into the series, especially in this map number 1, because this is your best hard point. This is where you have to make it happen.
Yeah, well, we talked about it, right? After the loss that OpTic Texas suffered versus New York, so many people speculative on how this roster is going to perform. When they faced off against top teams, it's been 3-0 losses. Now they're facing off against the best in the CDL in Atlanta FaZe. Jay, to kind of provide a little bit more importance, right? Giving every single storyline, hitting on it from every single direction. How valuable is this opening hardpoint specifically for OpTic?
Oh, it's everything, man, because this is what they need to win. They need to win this in order to have a ground to stand on. Because after that difficult loss versus New York, you need to get momentum any way possible. Playing your best hardpoint in this map number 1 is exactly how you have to start it. But it's not like they have been one of the best teams on this map. The most recent matchup they did play against Toronto Ultra, and the reason why they lost is because their setups, once they rotate, you got to make sure you're playing your life in that final 10 to 15 seconds, because if you die in that situation, you're going to spawn all the way across the map. That's what New York were able to do yesterday, break their setups down. But OpTic so far, they're looking like they're coming out swinging, man. 27 seconds already off P1. They don't have the spawns, but they have a lot of pressure already through Shen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. No spawns, but they've got the pressure indeed. Huke trying to get involved, looks to get involved in the fight. However, he eventually does hit the deck. Now it could be on to Dashy. We talked about the pressure that's on his shoulders, trying to adjust now with Ghosty in the lineup, trying to hit some snaps. Basically goes for the crossover, sets up Ghosty for the 1v1, but it is still a battle in the point. Everybody is being thrown at this point right now, Jay.
Oh, and OpTic, they're at least able to find a couple kills and now flip those spawns for Atlanta FaZe. So now ATL, they got to cut their losses. You got to get over towards Kitchen. This is going to be a huge one-on-one battle between Ghosty and Simp. Ghosty's going to be here first. He wins that first one, but there's 2 more players here for Atlanta trying to go for that trade.
Yep, Atlanta currently with the numbers. We'll see. This is an opportunity for them. However, Shotzzy ends up hitting a nice long-range fight. Eventually does get traded out, so the numbers still somewhat low for OpTic as they look to make the rotation now toward Kitchen. Can they lock this one down? A nice gunfight victory there for Bruce as he's able to take away 2.
Oh, that's big kills right there from Dashy. He finds those 2 kills. Atlanta FaZe thought that they had the numbers in that break situation. But eventually, OpTic hold the line. The setup is too strong as they are finding all the kills in the feed. They're not making any mistakes, man. They're not giving up their lives for free. Everyone's playing their corners. No one's trying to overextend to find some kills. So far, this has been a stellar hardpoint from OpTic.
Yeah, this is a scary start, man. I mean, we're already talking about the importance, the value of that opening hardpoint. You and I had the first opportunity of this OpTic Texas team versus LAG, where they pretty much came out nearly 100-point clubbed the Guerrillas in that series. A bit of a similar start. However, Atlanta FaZe, they get the break for the final 25 seconds just to make that scoreline look a little bit easier, or a little bit better, rather. But I don't know, Jay, for Atlanta FaZe, this is obviously the focus for them. We're talking about OpTic Texas in a multitude of ways, but on the other side of the stage for FaZe, pressure for them oftentimes has been questioned around how are the hardpoints going to play. It's the mode that arguably they've been the weakest on this season.
Oh yeah, without question, man, because if you think about their stats for every single game mode, hardpoint is the only one that they're currently sitting negative. They are the best team in search and destroy. They're around middle of the pack when it comes to control, but hardpoint is where they definitely need to step on up, because OpTic Texas, they're starting to run away with this, man. Fully set up, they're in control of the spawns. They're finding the kill when it's needed, but that's going to be all 4 dead in the feed. Final 30 seconds, Atlanta FaZe get the break, but they're not getting any time. OpTic still putting a lot of pressure on this hill.
We've talked about it a lot lately. Obviously, we had the cast yesterday and then versus New York. It feels like the strategy, the game plan is to try to play around the SMGs, at least maybe try and get that pace, get that aggression up. As so far through our first few hard points, it's really been OpTic Texas, as you said, buddy, kind of overwhelming the likes of Atlanta FaZe. And so far, it feels like at every single hard point, it almost feels like a 6v4 based off the way that they have been able to circumnavigate the map. But as we prepare for restaurant, a dicey one indeed when it comes down to hotel. It is OpTic there first. Atlanta, their first look at trying to break it, and we look through the eyes of aBeZy, a very good perspective to see. However, he's not able to clean up on the second, and from there the pressure goes on to MC. But boy, does he love being in spots like this. It could be an early break from Atlanta now.
Oh, Atlanta FaZe, they have more bodies. All they have to do is win a couple gunfights. Last play you got to focus on is Shotzzy. At least takes down 2. Dashy finds the 3rd, so you have to slow it down now. If you are Slasher, he's the last player here. He gets taken down. We know how scrappy the Dino Hill can be. It's all about the back and forth, as the trades are bound. But if you are Atlanta FaZe, at least you're setting yourself up properly. Going over towards that Plaid Hill, it's going to be Cellium. Nice and early off their rotation. Huge one-on-one going up against Shotzzy across the map.
Yep. We'll see if he's able to take it. Cellium on the stairs, ends up getting spotted. That's going to be 3 Cellium. I'm not sure if he was aware of what he was balancing on when it came down to the rail. Regardless of it, Shotzzy wins that one, and from there, OpTic Texas once more put in the better position. They've also cleared them out of the restaurant, so they know where the next line of attack is about to come from. And it is a bunch of cutoff kills coming as well, Jay. This lead looks to get extended, especially if Shotzzy's able to clean up a few. However, Atlanta, they run straight through the front door, and they make that objective theirs.
Yeah, they push right through the front door. Even with Shotzzy winning that huge one-on-one gunfight versus him towards Kitchen, he cancels that spawn, but the rest of the Atlanta players just push right on through the front, able to hit a couple attacks, and are able to find that break. Now with Atlanta only being down 40 points, Cellium with some great shots to eliminate Shotzzy from that back position, finds a snap on towards Dashy. So the final 15 is potentially going to go in favor of Atlanta. They sort of got themselves right back into this game. You just got to start winning some rotation, because that's 5 out of 6 hills that OpTic Texas on his first rotation of hard points. They were able to win it, so they start off with the initial time, and that's why they currently have the lead.
They do indeed. It is a welcoming sight to see OpTic Texas playing as well as they have off the first set of rotations, though, Jay. As we said, the opening hard point is everything, considering that you're facing off against the best S&D team basically in CDL history. Based off of record, you got to come through, walk away with the opening hard point. And they were able to win this Hotel HP last time that these rosters faced off. However, last time it was in game 4. Dashy dropped the 40 bomb, but right now it seems to be a collective effort across the board. How about the new addition and Dan Ghosty, 17 and 13, about to have a minute and a half inside of the hill, doing everything right now for the squad. FaZe struggling just to even see P1 right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. You usually don't allow a lot of time to go towards either squad when you're talking about the P1s in hardpoint in Modern Warfare 2. But OpTic Texas, with a great setup there, able to get basically a full 60 and blow this game wide open. Now it's Atlanta FaZe. They won the rotation towards P2 the first go around, but they just could not get the proper setup to hold it properly. OpTic Texas coming out swinging, full collective team unit, almost up by 100 points. They're not messing around today.
No, they're not at all. However, as we head toward the lobby, the lifeline potentially for the Atlanta FaZe. aBeZy making some sneak plays off of the last spawn that he had. Waits to hop inside of P1 to initiate that flank. And from there, Atlanta, a solid wave cleared here off the rip. But still 40 points to fight for. As we said, ones that could change the tide of this game. It is 2 to start from the new addition in Dan Ghosty. However, from there, Atlanta trying to rebound. But you've got players everywhere. It just feels like for OpTic, they continue to swarm over at that objective, just trying to contest, trying to be annoying. As we conclude things over at this lobby side, Atlanta will walk away with the scrap, and now we head toward the kitchen. Let's step aside and see how the comms are sounding in a big spot right now with OpTic Texas.
Take it down. Hurry. Pull, two hitting through 3 side doors. Side door, guys. 2 side. One more. I think they're both there. One into the back. One off the
What's gonna be front though? What's gonna be front? We're spawning out.
Two front, one back.
Back door, watch out.
I have your side door now. I have side door.
They give me time.
Back door.
What's that?
No, dude, top bed. He's alone on time. Just freezer.
Oh, you guys spawned out front. He's going freezer. One's going freezer. Oh, what's it back? I'm gonna put you guys.
Just keep finessing it.
2 on time. Yeah, I'm gonna go freezer.
TV dead.
Side there. Front.
I stunned him in time.
Coming out. Which side? I gotta break this shit. One more side.
Yo, I'm coming. Give me a sec.
He's just taking
He's taking.
I got you. Yo,
One more time. MC. There's two. both one shot. They're both one shot. Go fast. Go fast. They're both one shot. Go fast.
Yeah.
I'm watching 4-6-1. One is new. It's fucking aBeZy. He might be bottom bed or something. Or info. Info. Yeah, 2 on new. Got one.
Nice.
One more main one shot. Could be bottom bed, by the way. Abe could be bottom bed. That's him.
All right, these boys are firing. Jay, like I said, the last time that you and I casted over OpTic on Hotel Hardpoint, it sounded exactly like this when they were taking it to the Guerrillas. And right now in the opener, you hear that same level of communication again. The boys are yelling. They are screaming after every single kill that they get. Dashy going on a run. Shotzzy as well. His opportunity for 5 ends up coming to a halt, but they can be happy with the lead that they have, but they still have to be careful. 30 points gets Atlanta right back in this.
Yeah, 30 points gets Atlanta right back into this. But back to the comms, man. You can hear everybody roaring. OpTic knows what they are playing for. A winner's bracket spot at their own major. You don't want to start off on losers. And you saw that 3-piece from Dashy in Torch Kitchen. Batman came to play today. Already sitting at 25 and 20. Final 15 seconds is going to go in favor of OpTic Texas. Closer and closer to that 250-point mark. But now off the rotation. Atlanta FaZe are going to have more bodies, so they're going to be able to set up properly around this diner hill. OpTic, you just gotta take your time, wait for the trades to come in, set up the perfect play.
And that could have been it. Simp ends up finding the trade, also stays alive. It's going to allow for Dashy to now have to go and hunt for information. However, he's found himself pretty easily inside of the restaurant, a decent spot at that. Right now for Atlanta, it's just a matter of trying to find these trades as Shotzzy comes away with 2. Ghosty finds the 3rd, and from there, it is another break now for OpTic Texas. They've got restaurant without a doubt held down, but the streak comes in from the top. aBeZy able to utilize that for the break. Atlanta still hanging on.
I don't know if you feel Atlanta, but this feels like the same exact scenario that we saw OpTic Texas play when they played against Atlanta FaZe the last time around. It was 250 to 248. The pinch comes in from aBeZy, so you're able to get this final 10, but it's all about these gunfights over towards next. There's 2 players from OpTic Texas who spawn across the map, so it's the last 2 guys that have to go big. Huke at least gets 1. Now it's all up to Dashy. He drops. Atlanta FaZe, they win that rotation. They should be able to set up.
And this is huge. This next gunfight very well could decide the game, especially if Atlanta is able to get set up firmly inside of the hill. Cellium has got some trophies. You see Slasher setting up the crossfire on the backside of the map. Huke gets dealt with, and watch that score line begin to fly. aBeZy now sitting on 6 as we run into a stalemate. Dashy locking down the objective, but it's aBeZy who's able to come away with 1. It's a 1v1 now inside of the point. Atlanta holding on as that nade will land. Atlanta are about to tie the game.
And they can't win here. Atlanta cannot win here. They have to try to chain it towards P1, which has been the hill that OpTic Texas have found a lot of success. But ATL, they're finding all the kills in the feed. OpTic Texas spawning out towards bedroom. They're still trying to put pressure on. Only 5 seconds left towards top plat. Tie game. This is going to be a photo finish.
This is indeed. It's a 4-point game as we fly in for P1. Is this about to be the comeback here for Atlanta FaZe? Surely for OpTic Texas, you cannot squander an opportunity, a chance like this, as here comes the streak. It's 2 for 1 trade in favor of Atlanta. However, Dashy, Shotzzy able to come away with the few. OpTic now inside of the point. aBeZy ends up getting found out. It's a 1v1. Dashy's able to take it. Back and forth we go. Who can walk away with the opening hard point? It's going to be free time. Who's going to jump in? It could be Huke's chance. It could be Huke's chance. And there you go. OpTic Texas with the wildest ending of a hard point that we have seen in a while. Mimicking perfectly the last time we saw these 2 teams match up. Last time it was a 2-point game. This time it's a 3-point game. And in both occasions, it is OpTic winning the hard point, and boy, did they need that opener, Jay. Good God.
Oh my God, Lando. What a photo finish to that map number 1. OpTic Texas kind of scrambled, when you got over towards that plat hill, but they did a great job of just contesting from the front, not allowing Atlanta FaZe to win off of that plat hill. They forced it to the P1, where they have had success all map long on soaking a bunch of that time. I just think OpTic Texas did a great job of just not all dying at the same time. It was Dashy who was staying alive in towards double arch. He finds 2. aBeZy found 2. The Atlanta FaZe were getting the close spawns in towards kitchen. Everyone was flying around. But once OpTic were able to find 3 kills, they get on the point. They know where the spawns are coming in. And they eventually close out what was one of the best harpers we've seen all year, and definitely a needed one at that for OpTic Texas. Now up 1-0 in the series.
Oh my God, we got to take a look at our scuff play of the game, which is just instantly going to be the end of that hard point. I mean, Jay, we can talk about it. OpTic, they were up. Like, it felt like they're about to close out the game. Atlanta FaZe, they stay alive. Walk us through the ending moments, because I'll tell you what, man, I enjoyed commentating that, but it was just absolute chaos the entire time.
Absolute chaos, brother. This is what it comes down to. aBeZy uses that streak. Cellium picks up a kill onto Ghosty towards couches. But then they find 2 kills. So you're thinking Atlanta FaZe are going to have the numbers to put themselves in that position. But the close spawns for OpTic Texas towards Diner, they come in. OpTic are able to find a couple kills. aBeZy finds 2. But you see those spawns for Atlanta FaZe, they're still towards kitchen. This is where it falls into Dashy. He stays alive in towards double arches when he finds 2 kills, sets up that kill for Shotzzy, and he's still holding down this position. That's the biggest thing. If Dashy dies here, it's a more difficult play that he has to win. He doesn't drop. He goes on that 4 spree. He allows the openings for OpTic Texas to get on that point to eventually close out the game. Atlanta FaZe almost had one of the most insane comebacks we've ever seen, but OpTic Texas, they ice up at the end and they take map 1.
That's all it takes, right? That is all that it takes. A 3-point hardpoint game, nearly a collapsing comeback from Atlanta, and a 41 bomb out of aBeZy for the L. 41 and 28. That was not good enough.
20 assists
to get it
20
done.
Assists out of Ghosty. Look at that.
All right.
Hill
like
time.
John Stockton out here, Jay. Magic
Yeah, hill
Johnson
time.
numbers.
That guy's hill time, putting bullets down. Like, he was doing everything that OpTic needed him to do in that map number 1. And with him putting up those numbers, even though he ends up negative, just soaking up that hill time, putting down bullets to set up your teammates to pick up the easier kills. What a performance from the rookie right there.
Jay, I refuse to believe that man went negative after 20 assists. Like, come on. That guy was having a field day out there in terms of helping out the squad mates. But tell you what, man. All right, I feel like we kind of got thrown into the series just like that, but take a look at our maps and modes. OpTic up 1-0, a spot where you and I, right, we have a lot of chats coming into the series. We're discussing it, we're talking about it. A must-win for OpTic Texas for a multitude of different reasons, but the biggest one is because of Atlanta FaZe. They currently find themselves on a CDL record 11 search destroy winning streak. Wild. The reasoning for that obviously is because we've got that LSilo search destroy up next. Goodness, man. When we talk about the records for both these teams, though, I will say OpTic does like this one as well.
Yeah, they do. They're sitting at 3-0 going up against Atlanta FaZe, who have a 10-2 record. A lot more reps for the Atlanta boys. But if you are OpTic Texas, the last couple of times you have played this, it's always that one guy that usually just takes over. The very first time they played it, it was Dashy going 13-4. The second time they played it, it was Huke going 14-1 with a 14 KD to take over that game to win it 6-1. And then the last time they recently just played it versus Minnesota, it was a full team collective effort. Everyone stepped up. They dominated in a 6-1 fashion.
Oh, God.
And if they can do that again, take down Atlanta FaZe. When you talk about search and destroy, these are 2 guys that can definitely do it for their respective squads.
Yeah, absolutely. We're taking a look at the Major III qualifier numbers from both of those superstar SMGs. aBeZy, we saw the KD there. We see the records now on our screen for Atlanta FaZe. The reasoning for why that opening hardpoint was so crucial for OpTic is because they're going to have to end, as we said, a CDL record winning streak. Can Atlanta FaZe keep it going? Moving into the Texas Major, it is possible. Can they make it 12, or could it be the shocker of a lifetime? Texas maybe winning the search. We will see. We jump into round 1. Atlanta FaZe kicking things off on the attacking side. It will be Simp with an objective on his back, and he'll look to get that one down nice and early.
Oh, yeah, because there's no trophy Simps to work with, so you know no OpTic players are going to be in towards the site. Cellium starts it off. aBeZy finds a second, so already in the 3v2 situation. Dashy and Ghosty have a lot to try to make up. Dashy's going to get spotted, but still alive. He has to try to win, and big gunfight makes it a 2v2.
The big gunfight victory there for Bruce. However, Slasher able to bring it now to a 2v1. It's going to have to all be on to Dashy. Can he walk away with the final 3 kills? He's got 15 seconds to work with. He's got aBeZy in his sights, but it will be aBeZy who's able to take that fight. Atlanta FaZe J. All about aggression in round 1. Get the bomb down, chow out. Cellium loses a big gunfight there versus Dashy, but thankfully for him, he's got aBeZy to back him up.
Yeah, that's just a perfect play call right there from Atlanta FaZe. They know that early into this map, especially in round number 1, there's no trophy systems to work with. So you use your tax to open up that site. No one's in there. You get the bomb down. You play the 4v4 retake. And both of these guys are stellar. On some LSELO search and destroy at getting the first blood. That time around, it was Cellium to start it off. Eventually leads to Atlanta FaZe taking the first round.
We'll see how OpTic Texas attempts to reply. It's Huke and Dashy, the only ones finding kills in that opener. aBeZy, well, we talked about it. First blood king and showing the reason why he firmly holds on to that title. No sign of losing that crown anytime soon. Answers for the first. Shotzzy out of the fight. And from there, OpTic Texas have to stall the push.
So now in the 3v4 situation, Huke's at least able to even the numbers, making it 3v3 by taking down aBeZy. So you have a lot of time to work with. Do they decide to wrap this bomb over towards B? That might be the play cause. Dead Silence is invested from Huke.
This is free.
Should be able to get this bomb plant down for free. Now it's going to force Atlanta FaZe to retake in a 3v3 situation.
Love that call. See how it works out. We talk so often about with bomb down on attack. A few opportunities squandered yesterday versus New York. Can they right the ship this time? Now versus Atlanta. Ghosty making things that much easier. He's got the sound cues on Slasher. Easy gunfight there for the Røkkr. As now it is all on to Simp. 1v3, 25 seconds to go, and he will get cleaned up. Ghosty going big at the end.
That's just good work right there from OpTic. Even after getting first blooded, Huke finds that kill onto aBeZy, and then no hesitation on the rotation towards B-bomb. You get that bomb down. You have Ghosty, who's playing that solo island player, catches the last 3 players from Atlanta FaZe off that rotation, and is able to close out the round with 3 kills. OpTic tied up at 1 now.
Like we said yesterday, I mean, so many opportunities that were squandered on the Fortress S&D versus New York. They had the bomb down. It was a 97 win percent that they allowed to go the opposite direction twice. That time, as we said, righting the wrongs. The series from yesterday. It's aggression to start off this round, but it's 2 OpTic Texas players who are ultimately traded. And the N for 1 of Atlanta FaZe, they're only adding on it that much more. Shotzzy once more out of the fight. Ghosty, who was the superstar to kick off, rather to end out that round number 2, now has got to do it all in round 3. 1v3 to boot. Thankfully, he does have the weapon of choice. Team Slasher to start.
Oh, big kill to take down Slasher. Now you are getting a couple sound cues to where a location of another enemy is. Time is starting to tick. Simp just wants to stay alive, and that's good work to at least play your life in that situation. 20 seconds left. Ghosty at least has to find one to try to hop this bomb.
How about the snap? They're on to Cellium. The positive, though, for Atlanta is not only do you had 2 players alive, but you had 3. Simp can just play the time. Good looks. They're out of Ghosty. I'll tell you what, man, I think I want to see the Vaznev in his hands more often.
Hey, he's got the snap, man. He's basically the flex player for this team. If you're going to whip out a 3rd SMG, I'd definitely rather have Ghosty with it than Dashy, because we know what kind of AR presence Dashy does bring to the roster. You don't want that guy to switch weapons whenever he gets that opportunity. But Atlanta FaZe find another first blood. That's so far 3 on the map. They take full control of bottom mid. They get the bomb down, and they play the clock beautifully to close out the round. Now up 2-1.
And a touch on it, Jay. I mean, what do you think has been the biggest method of success for Atlanta FaZe, right? Why is this particular team on this winning streak right now?
The reason why is because their SMGs have no hesitation when it comes to their plays. And then when your ARs are left in clutch situations, Cellium is going to hold down the power position. Slasher's going to wait for his Dead Silence to hit that pinch. They just have a great coordination on team plays when you talk about S&D.
Speaking of coordination, take a look at player number 8, Slasher. Finding himself on the flank. Normally, as you said, it's the SMGs hitting the routes. This time, it is Litigo, as you can see for Atlanta. Making a bit of noise. Shotzzy, however, he will answer with aggression. Huke ends up finding one onto Simp, and so Slasher, he's trying to get here. but his SMGs have fallen, so the pinch basically is no longer one. Still, can he find one? No, not gonna happen, Huke. The fast reactions there on the Slasher, as we said, was waiting for the longest time to come away with the pinch. However, his SMGs will fall. Huke is styling an OpTic answer back in 2-2.
So far, all attacking rounds. This time, OpTic Texas were able to start off the engagement and find that first blood. With Shotzzy working his way up the middle of the map to take down aBeZy. Big player to take down because aBeZy can cause you some problems, so Shotzzy takes care of him. Simp tries to go for the trade. Huke finds the second. And eventually they close out the round by finding a final couple of kills. OpTic Texas tie it up at 2. Like I said, it's been all attacking so far.
About to start from Huke again, man. 6 and 2. He's got those new settings. He's feeling great. Funniest thing, man, is that he's number 2 and number 3 in KD this season on LSELO Search and Destroy. And his stint with LAG and so far with OpTic Texas, above a 2 on both of those lineups. Obviously, LSELO Search and Destroy. It has just fit his playstyle so well. A crack of the whip as we see Dashy pull up the sniper for the first time. Able to find one onto aBeZy. However, after that, it's been all Atlanta. Shotzzy eventually makes his presence felt as he goes for the quick flank. Bomb is going to be down, and Shotzzy did not spot Slasher.
Oh, I don't think Slasher spotted him either, so Shotzzy still has that dead silence. He can potentially work on a deep flank, and the timing might work out perfectly. You got to get this kill before Slasher's going to get the Qs, but he's going to be able to find it. Makes it a 1v1, can't win it. Oh.
It was a square up at the end. I thought for a moment, Jay, like we saw Shotzzy in that first little angle. Didn't see Slasher, just catches the corner of him. And I love a fight like this. You got both players in the same spot on the opposite sides of the map. Simp versus Shotzzy. And it is Simp who is able to take it, and just that little gunfight now has elevated Atlanta FaZe to a round in response. It has just been round after round. It's Atlanta, OpTic, and now Atlanta again, up 3 rounds to 2. Simp sitting on the 3 spree. We'll see if he can increase that and maybe start to threaten for a few streaks.
Yeah, Simp's just trying to be the guy. Just gives the information to his team of how they're going to try to bleed on this play. Last round it was Slasher to go on a deep flank. This time it's aBeZy. He finds that first one onto Dashy. Now they can set up the vice grip, put them in the trap, but at least Ghosty's able to take down Simp 3v3 now.
You can see what Atlanta is trying to do. With that flank, they're just trying to keep them all inside of roughly the same position. And we know with Durel yesterday, you can absolutely shoot through some of these walls, the couch included. Cellium looking to try to find that angle. Time continues to tick away. Ghosty's at least able to answer for one. Cellium gets involved in the fight now. It is all down to Shotzzy. Position, no, but he gets out of dodge. And with that, he can play with the objective, as that is going to be all he has to rely on. One player is going to be on the defuse. He has to make a run, but Slasher is on it. Can Shotzzy get here in time? Goes for the dolphin.
Oh!
No, he does not. So close. Finds both kills, but Atlanta FaZe laughing their way to a defuse. Jay, that was just milliseconds away.
Shotzzy almost just made the play, Lando. He almost made the play because Atlanta FaZe, they knew that the bomb was planted for stretch. Yeah, that small moment. That small moment going through side doors eventually what cost him. Wonder if he does decide to go for that dive, able to put his gun up a little bit quicker. He's able to take him down, but Atlanta FaZe, no hesitation on the defuse, able to take the first defensive round. Now go up 4-2.
Shotzzy a little frustrated quickly. Gets into that gunfight versus Slasher, says, we'll make this one count. But as we know, so far, this feels like every time a team has got a first blood, it has been quickly traded. And right now for FaZe, they do have quite a bit of arrows established to make that bomb rotation into that B site. One player is here. One man is here, and that is going to be Dashy. You see aBeZy hasn't yet spotted him, however, isn't able to come away with anything despite having a very valuable position, so he gets taken down. And now it's on to the SMGs of OpTic Texas to make the retake.
Oh, but Huke at least finds it. That first kill with the nade. They get the information that both plays in towards the site. This is an SMG battle. Shotzzy makes it a 1v1.
1v1, and it's going to be Huke this time, who's able to come out on top. It has been an SMG square up in so many of these rounds. Just a few ago, it was Simp versus Shotzzy. This time, it is Huke, who's able to come away with the swing round for the team, as they are able to make it now 4 rounds to 3. OpTic staying in it.
That's a very, very big round right there from OpTic Texas. I thought once Dashy puts himself in that position towards back rocks, if he just simply does not shoot off the first play at any spots, he has the potential to make the play happen and pick up all 3 kills. But once he gets taken down, it was all on Huke finding that first kill onto Cellium, making it a 2v2, and then trapping the last 2 players from Atlanta FaZe in towards the site. Played it patient, worked out perfectly. OpTic take the round, now down 4-3.
Take a look at aBeZy. Hitting the routes again. Shotzzy, aware of it, goes for the dolphin dive, but it does not matter. aBeZy, as we said, it's come down to so many 1v1 fights. aBeZy escapes with 1 HP as Simp will do damage on the other side of the map. Shotzzy and Huke are nullified, but Dashy at least able to make that man count look a little bit better. Bomb is down 2v3.
2v3. Slasher pops that dead silence to work this deep flank. You get the information onto Dashy. You're able to pick up that kill. Simp is already on the bomb. Ghosty not gonna check it. And Atlanta FaZe are able to take that round. Now puts them at game point. But you got to think about how that round started, man. That first one was so crucial from aBeZy, taking down Shotzzy with all the information he was able to pick up on. He knows that there was only 1 player in towards the site. They find that trade. They instantly hop the bomb. Ghosty has nothing to work with. Atlanta FaZe put themselves now at game point.
Yeah, I mean, not only, if Shotzzy's able to win that fight, as we said, aBeZy escapes with 1 health. If Shotzzy wins that fight, not only does he take down the first one in aBeZy, but he also gets information that Slasher is making that flank. He at least slows down progress from half of Atlanta FaZe in that round. But as we said, so many little fights that have equaled out to the scoreline that we see for the moment. 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Atlanta FaZe. Can Dashy Sniper be the difference? As Cellium able to take him down. Dashy has got the long range weapon and he wasn't even able to see MC. Huke 1v4. Can he pull off something crazy and keep this game going? White flag by no means out. Gets a bit of info, but the same thing can be said for Atlanta. Cellium on the desk gets taken down. 2 more to go.
Now it's a 1v2 and you have dead silence to work with. So Huke is definitely in a position to make this clutch happen. He's just gonna go for the chow. He finds the first, can't snap onto the second. aBeZy able to close out the search and destroy for Atlanta FaZe. Huke almost made that possible though, man. He almost got it done. But Atlanta FaZe close out the surge and they extend that S&D win streak to 12 now.
Good God. Atlanta FaZe come away with the dub. I'll tell you what, man, that was wild. I know that, obviously you could critique the way that he challenges in that 1v2, but it's just Huke's play style, man. Just to go for the chow, it is absurd. He brings it into a 1v1 at the end, puts up 11 kills, but it's not enough. As you said, Atlanta FaZe coming away with another search and destroy win. As this one, I don't know if it's gone the way that we necessarily expected. I mean, the questions were obviously on OpTic in terms of if they could win the hard point, but you just knew coming into this series, it feels like versus, really when it comes down to Atlanta FaZe, there is nobody that can test this team right now in search and destroy. And that does make you concerned a bit. If your OpTic now puts that much more pressure on the respawns, we talk about, maybe a future game 5, all of the things that play a factor into it. As we said, Jay, OpTic Texas just try to make winners bracket.
Yeah, OpTic Texas is trying to do whatever they can to not start and losers at their own major. That search and destroy was all about the first bloods. Atlanta FaZe got 6. They lead to 6 W's. That's eventually what was the causing of the game. Tied up at 1. Now we got to control, man. Well, it's going to be a banger, man.
It is indeed. This series has been fun. It's been spicy up to this point as both teams battling it out. Atlanta FaZe trying to improve the record. And as we said, OpTic Texas trying to make winners bracket at their own major. When we come back after the break, we are headed to Hotel Control. Stay with us.
He's not messing around today.
That's not it. That's Crim 7.
There you go. What are you doing? New York got a 6-man on the roster as they take the main stage. The storyline is here and the run continues. NY versus Florida. Yo, Ali, I can't wait.
Make some noise for Polex, HyDra, KiSMET, and Crim 7. Crim 6 to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for your New York Subliners.
The Call of Duty League is presented by the GMC Hummer EV Pickup, the world's first all-electric super truck. Upgrade your game with the Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Howdy, friends, and welcome back to OpTic Texas versus Atlanta FaZe. Lando and Study on the call for what has already been a very, very fun series up to this point. It was a crazy hard point that led into Atlanta FaZe extending their S&D winning streak now to 12 games in a row. Already had the record and now trying to flex it that much more. But on the flip side, now for OpTic Texas, Jay, as we jump in for this hotel control, talk to me about this team, the history with this lineup when it comes down to this map and mode specifically.
Oh, this map and mode specifically was a battle the last time both of these squads did match up. You think about a map like Hotel Control, it's usually all about the attacking rounds. That's where you find a lot of success. If you can sneak out of defense, that's even better. But the last time these guys matched up, all 5 rounds were won on the attacking side, and it was OpTic Texas able to win 3 of those to eventually close out the map. They haven't really had a lot of success in Control when it comes to like winning attacking rounds, but they got it done last time. They needed to do it again.
That's exactly right, my friend. As like we said, Hotel Control, another square up between these two teams. But now on the likes for Atlanta FaZe, a roster that obviously likes themselves some Hotel Control, a 9-5 record. But doing the prep for this series, Jay, one thing stuck out to me. Atlanta FaZe on the season, they have got 7 losses overall. The common denominator for every single loss so far this season, a control loss. So this is your opportunity. This is their kryptonite. If you can come away, much like you did last time, with a Hotel Control victory, this is the method. This is the way that every team has been able to do it so far versus FaZe. Can OpTic Texas replicate their success from last time? Or can Atlanta FaZe right the wrongs? We will see as we jump in here for game number 3, the swing mode indeed. It is OpTic Texas starting things off on attack as they've got their sights set at that B zone off the rip.
And that's a beautiful break off right there from OpTic, because they sent 2 players through mid, 2 players through bedroom. They find that first kill and already completed that first swing and over towards B. They only have 2 players on the point, so it's not going to go as fast, but they're finding all the kills. Atlanta FaZe only have 1 player left in this position. It's going to be aBeZy. He has to try to go big with attack in hand. He finds 1. The trade is not there, and that's going to be already done and dusted. B point out the way. OpTic doing exactly what they need to do already on the attacking side.
Well, okay. I was going to say, aBeZy's flanking. He's called out to his teammates. Guys, I'm on the flank. They're like, yeah, you're the only one. He's like, wait, what? What just happened? Absurd stuff from OpTic off the rip as they make that B zone theirs in nearly record time. And now, I'm going to tell you what, man, we've seen some crazy comebacks happen, or rather crazy holds happen from the defensive sides, but we know it, right? And once you're in that A zone, you start to get a few bodies, you get those close spawns. It is definitely not going to be an easy next minute and 40 seconds for FaZe.
Definitely not. Just have to make sure you're slaying, holding down that kitchen control. And players that are watching the pinch, just play your life as long as you can, because you know the pressure is going to come in from the back end. And Shotzzy's working his way all the way through the backside of Jules. He's trying to spot Slasher with a great angle, trying to go for the nade. Not going to be able to connect, but he does get that information. This can potentially cause Slasher some problems, but he shuts down both players. Both players get shut down towards the flank, and that's already the first push shut down on the side of OpTic.
Oh my God. Shout out to the Observer team for that one. Slasher continuing to be a menace. You can see what that one gunfight does. Slasher was on a sliver of HP. He stays alive, and from there, he begins to roll. Now on 4 in a row, eventually checked. But that moment right there stalled so much time from OpTic Texas. Now 45 seconds to work with. It's a 2-man army looking to make the flank at the same time. Simp behind enemy lines, looking to cause some chaos himself. FaZe up big in terms of the lives. However, for OpTic, their first opportunity to put a body, to put some feet inside of that objective, but it's quickly answered with another Slasher kill.
Yeah, this is a big situation. If OpTic can find a couple kills, Dashy and Shotzzy combined for 2, but you still have to worry about aBeZy, who's maintaining kitchen control. Only 20 seconds left on the round, 15-9 and lives remaining. OpTic have 1 more good push. It all starts with this gunfight. aBeZy's able to win it, and at least the trade is there. Now OpTic have full control of kitchen. Ghosty flies through connector. They can stack this point.
They absolutely can. Simp, he goes for the dolphin dive. Any kill would be huge. He eventually drops, but it's a team kill. It is a team kill, so that zone will not move as fast. Will that be enough? Can they get OpTic Texas over the finish line, or can Atlanta make a dent? Slasher goes for the dive, and it will be a round 1 victory for OpTic. Goodness sake, Jay, it felt like they could not jump in. They finally get their window of opportunity, and they seize it. Wild, wild stuff again.
It all started with that kitchen control. Huke finds himself on the backside of kitchen. He's able to take down both players. Now at that point, you're giving OpTic the opportunity to just sprint right on forward to get on towards the point. But it's not only Huke's 2 kills, it's Ghosty flying through connector, winning that huge one-on-one, which relieves all the pressure on the side of Atlanta FaZe. They spawn all the way across the map. You get that kill, you stack the point, you close it out. OpTic able to close it out in the final 10 seconds to take the very first round.
History repeating itself already, Jay. OpTic
Already.
As we said, they had those 3 attacking victories. It was 5 for 5 in attacks when these last 2 teams matched up in the Major II qualifiers. And as we said, history on history. Atlanta FaZe trying to do the exact same. Can we see 7 straight attacking round wins between these 2 rosters here in Hotel Control? It's already off to a great start here for FaZe as they walk away with a few final kills. Cellium is going to be contested, so he drops. Big 1v1 win for Shotzzy. You can see how close Atlanta was to wiping away that point. And given their spawns, they'll now focus their attention at A and really just try to stop that clock.
Yeah, you already got 2 segments over towards that B point. So now let's get A out of the way, but you have to find a couple kills. Huke and Dashy combined for 2. There's now only 2 players left towards the diner. They're just trying to contest it. Huke with the snakes, able to line up the first with the tack, relieve that pressure, force aBeZy to get off the point. They take care of him. But while they were putting a lot of pressure over towards A, the last 2 players from Atlanta FaZe are able to close out towards B. So now extending time by a minute. OpTic have to hold the defensive strong at A for 2 minutes now.
They do indeed. Oh, interesting situation that Ghosty finds himself in. I was going to say Slasher in the inverse spot from where he was last round. In such a pesky player on the defensive side, and now it is Ghosty who is here to hold down this angle with the tack. He's got 3 players to deal with. How can he handle it? Exactly how you'd like him to. Finds 2, gets the comms on the 3rd. Dan Ghosty locking the spawns up.
Oh, Dan Ghosty holding on the flank, and Huke still putting pressure in towards kitchen. But with that trade coming in, now there's only 2 players left on this side of the map for OpTic Texas. You are getting a close one, at least for 1 player in Huke. But these gunfights are going to be big. You have to win the trade battle. Huke and Dashy started off. Ghosty finds the 3rd. Now there's only 1 player left here. It's going to be aBeZy. aBeZy does take him down. But now it's all on to Shotzzy. With Shotzzy picking up that kills, the close spawn still coming in for OpTic. They're able to flood right back on it.
Guaranteed some interesting spawns for Atlanta. You did have player number 5 in Cellium. Spawn close in kitchen. Meanwhile, the other 3 over toward parking. So it is going to establish another pinching opportunity here from FaZe, but it's Shotzzy and Huke almost at the exact same time win those gunfights. So it is 1 lane cleared. The pinch by no means is going to be established. Slasher, we'll see what he can do. Last time he was thwarted by Ghosty. This time it is by Dashy. 25 seconds to go. FaZe, can they finally get a break?
FaZe need a break. And they do the same exact thing that OpTic just did, but no, the pitch comes in for Shotzzy. Ties it perfectly with that dead silence. Takes down 2. Huke finds the 3rd. He finds the last player off, which is going to be Slasher. And now you see those spawns for Atlanta FaZe all the way across the map. This is going to be a defensive win for OpTic Texas to now put themselves in a commanding 2-0 lead, man.
I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. It does not get much better than this. Obviously, you're up 2-0. Even if we get to a round 5, I mean, you're up 6-3 currently in segments. You're about to add on to that coming into this next round. And they just outslayed heavy as well, Jay. I mean, we may not even see, obviously, a round number 5, but just the way that you've started off this game, you've already put yourself in the best situation possible, not just to close it out early, but in case we do happen to extend ourselves a little bit further. Goodness sake. OpTic have answered back so far in the control. So far, they have been absolutely deadly here in the respawns. And Shotzzy does fall off of that spree. We'll see if OpTic can close it out here, man. Can they just continue to win attacks versus FaZe?
They're putting a lot of pressure over towards B as well. You do have 1 player in Simp going for the super long flank. Gonna flank his way all the way towards top bedroom. So he's going to be able to at least take 1 player down. Great pitch comes in. He's able to eliminate both and shut down that early pressure over towards B, only allowing 1 segment. But now you got to make your way all the way across the map. You know that the spawns for OpTic Texas are going to be all towards kitchen. So what can aBeZy do in that position? He eventually gets dropped. So OpTic Texas are able to get on that point, stop that clock.
It's the biggest focus. Obviously, as we've seen so far, It's about getting that objective captured quick, whether it be or whether at a hotel offers you a myriad of opportunities. OpTic Texas seizing that right now inside of the restaurant. A few close spawns, and then Slasher instantly takes down one. He eventually does get found out, and now here comes a bit of contest from Atlanta FaZe. They've got players coming in from multiple directions. The same thing can be said for Shotzzy, but as the dust settles, it's another big gunfight, one for Bruce. The only player nearby will basically guarantee that that objective will be captured. Extra minute added on to the clock, and all the weight now falling on Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe now have to set up around that B point. Want to make sure you're maintaining over towards bedroom side. They only have one player in that position, which is going to be Slasher. He eventually does get sniffed out. So with Shotzzy picking up that kill, Dashy's now going to spawn towards back plat. You have to win these gunfights. If you are aBeZy, he gets snapped on by Ghosty, and now OpTic have the pressure. They can close it out right now.
Yeah, and they're getting those close spawns as well. You see player number 3 in Huke. He's going to try to go for the cutoff. You've got a great situation set up. That's going to be 2 ticks. One more to go before this game is already done. Shotzzy and Huke trying to clear the way. Oh, it's a 1v1. Simp at least able to delay for now and keep Atlanta FaZe's hopes alive. If that 1v1 goes differently, Jay, that could have been game right there.
Oh, yeah. If he wins that gunfight, the close spawn's coming for OpTic Texas, and then eventually the stack can come in. They would have been able to close out the game, but big gunfight from Simp. So now extend this game a little bit longer. Now OpTic is trying to set up the perfect play, trying to work their way all the way through the backside. They find it. They do find a couple kills. They know the position of Slasher. They can't take him down. They're trying to take care of him. They do a great job of doing so. And now this is where you have to gun up. You have to iron up. You have to play for these kills if you are Atlanta.
Oh, Dashy
oh no!
Escapes with 1 HP. OpTic Texas currently with numbers, and as we said, it is just one more segment. Are they about to lock this one up right now? Is it about to be a 3-0 in the control? And yes, it will be. Remaining flawless on attacks versus FaZe. And that is how you answer. That is how you reply. A shocker here in game number 3. The mode OpTic has been struggling on mightily. 2-6 in their last 8 coming into it. But versus Atlanta, they turn up a 3-0, 2 attacking wins, and now up 2-1 in this series.
OpTic just had the perfect game plan, man. They start off on the attacking side. They win their initial gunfights. They're able to take down B and then rotate over towards A in the final 10 seconds to take the very first attacking round. But then when it came down to the defensive side, a 2-minute hold over towards that A point is what eventually allows them to close out this game the way that they did, man. Every time, it was players holding down their position, knowing that they had to win huge one-on-ones. And then we take a look at the highlights, man. OpTic was just all over the map. They were putting a lot of pressure on every single angle that they needed to. When it came down to those crucial moments when they had to win the gunfights in certain positions, they did just that. To dominate this control the way they did, now puts them up 2-1 in the series.
Tell you what, man, they need to be playing more hotel control.
Without question, man. Without question.
They just have Atlanta FaZe's numbers. Jay, that is now on the season 5-0 on attacks in control versus FaZe. I mean, like we said, the records have not been great, but versus Atlanta, OpTic Texas just turns up, man. They just turn up. I know Ant or Nables was talking about it on the desk. The 77th career matchup between FaZe and OpTic, but in the CDL, whether it's been OpTic Texas, right, and Vanguard, and so far in this season, they hold a 6-1 record, trying to make it 7-1 en route to winner's bracket at their own major. And as we take a look at our box score, Jay, what number sticks out the most to you?
Honestly, everyone's numbers. Everyone played well. Shotzzy, I'm pretty sure at a point in the game was like 3-10. He ended that second round 10-11. So he only died one time in that whole scenario where he was popping that dead silence, working the flank. So just right now, OpTic Texas, they're looking like a complete team. They're not making little mistakes. Every time someone needs to hold down their position, they're not overextending. They're not over-challenging. They're playing great Call of Duty right now. As we take a look at our maps most presented by GMC Hummer, very close hard point to start. S&D obviously is going to go in favor of the Atlanta FaZe because they have just been a terror in that mode. But then to win in a 3-0 versus Atlanta FaZe on their best control map, that's a statement, man. They have a lot to play for. They're trying to keep Vegas out of that 8th spot. They're trying to secure winners bracket at their own tournament. And so far, they are playing so damn well to make it happen for them.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We talk about all the storylines. It's almost impossible to cover every single story coming into this matchup between OpTic and FaZe. But another underlying one, as you called it, partner, is that if OpTic Texas lose this series, Atlanta FaZe wins. That means that Las Vegas Legion, the Legion really just in general, for the first time in franchise history, will lock up a winner's bracket position moving into Major 3. Incredible stuff, as I'm sure Clay watching this, and he is biting his nails more than he ever has, looking at the fact that it's a 3-0 here in the control. And I don't know about you, man, but it just feels like it, right? At this moment, coming into this Mercado hardpoint, I know OpTic are coming off of a great 3-0 win in the control, but it feels like it has to be done here. I mean, Atlanta FaZe, looking so solid in Search Destroy. I know that you know it very, very well. That Mercado in Game 5 fits them so well. It feels like if OpTic Texas is going to win this series, it has to happen right now.
Yeah, it has to happen right now, in my opinion, because if you get to that Mercado S&D, Atlanta FaZe are the best team at that map, #1 in every single category. Where you're talking about the attacking, where you're talking about the defending, and even the first bloods. They have some crazy KDs as well on that Mercado S&D, but we got to get to some Mercado hardpoint first. This is a map that usually Atlanta FaZe do find themselves a lot of success. The only team that tends to take them down on this is 100% that LA Thieves roster. And the reason why it causes them problems is because LA Thieves, they win their rotations and they're able to set up properly and also find breaks. So if you are OpTic Texas, the best rotation team on this map, but they struggle in their breaks, you can't fall short. You have to make sure when you're rotating, you're putting yourself in the best possible setup you can with 30 to 25 seconds.
Yeah, we know. We've seen some very, very punishing hardpoint performances from Atlanta FaZe here on Mercado. They get going. We could very well be seeing a Game 5 faster than we think. But to kick off this hardpoint so far, it has been OpTic Texas with 22 uncontested points. Right now for Atlanta, they're looking to make their way up the right side of the map. Shotzzy, realizing such, bends the back gun up, trying to play for P2. The money hill up next. However, he's got 2 more players left to go. Trying to hit the nice movement as the battles will look to begin. Atlanta in a 3 versus 4. What can they make happen? Shotzzy over the top. Can he fight?
Oh!
Yes, he will. A big gunfight to win as Slasher drops. OpTic will hold on to Cantina.
And that's beautiful patience right there from Shotzzy. To not get a little bit overzealous and go for that ego chow towards top flat. He waits for the pinch to come in, but eventually sets up the break for OpTic Texas to win that rotation over towards Cantinas. But now Atlanta FaZe are putting a lot of pressure over towards Hedge. All of OpTic know exactly where they're coming from. This has been a flawless start to this hard point as they are cutting them all down.
You can see it right now for Huke. He just picked up the tack. He says this thing works pretty well. Dashy on a beamer right now toward top Cantina. This is about to be a flawless start to this hard point. Quickly for Texas, 20 seconds to go. And Atlanta FaZe, understandably so, are just gonna have to rotate. They just have to go for the rotation. And now you cannot afford to lose this. FaZe already, Jay. They need a reply and a big one at that.
Yeah, they need a full 60 hold. Right on towards the 10 hill. They are getting a couple close spawns toward the backside of that alley. But it's all about the setup. And OpTic Texas is so far putting a lot of pressure on the map. You're going to see aBeZy spawn all the way out towards gas, but his teammates do a great job of finding all the kills in the feed. Able to shut down that first rush from OpTic Texas. As now they're going to be forced to push through back alley, push through dark, and Simp's ready for it.
Simp is ready. However, the trades are in. 40 seconds still to fight for. aBeZy able to dolphin dive, stay alive, remain with his team that now will open up the opportunity for Slasher to walk away with a few kills. Texas's heads are turned, and Slasher strikes again, runs out of ammo, but surely it's Ghosty that's going to be traded, and yes, he will. Atlanta FaZe, they needed every single second, and they have got it. Very much so back in this game, but now the rotation, the headbutt that's about to go down in Barbershop. Who can come out on top in these opening fights? Slasher again trying to lead the way.
Slasher and a little bit of help of Dashy is able to put them now in the trade advantage. They're just gonna push their way right through back alley. You're gonna have one player in Shotzzy spawn all the way across the map. So he's trying to find the player that's coming off of Ode. But so far, OpTic, 3 stacked in towards the hill. Dashy with the tag 56, doing it up close and personal. Can't find the kill. Cellium trades with 2, but OpTic still hold on. Close spawns here for Atlanta, though.
Oh my God, this is just wild. Hardpoint so far. aBeZy eventually breaks in, but how about the fights that are won from both Dashy and Cellium? Crazy gunfights in close quarters there with the tack, as FaZe getting some much needed seconds right now here in Barbershop. aBeZy able to win that fight, and as the final 20 will come to a close, Atlanta FaZe will tie up the game.
Oh, it's great work from Atlanta to find that break over towards Barber, but now it's going to force OpTic Texas off that rotation. This is where you had 20 seconds to put yourself in the best setup, but look at the close spawn. It actually comes in for Slasher towards back 10. So do they read his positioning, as now Atlanta FaZe trying to break through the back end?
Oh, Shotzzy is able to find him. I was getting ready to say, as you called it, man, Slasher in a very valuable spot. He ends up getting taken down, and now OpTic, they've got a full-on setup here. Cellium eventually drops in the back. Thankfully, at least it's a nade to kick things off. However, trades on trades. Dashy able to clean up a bit of work in the backside, and from there, Texas, they've got this position. They are having a few players spawning out toward middle, so this is delaying Atlanta. It is also not allowing for OpTic Texas to have all that many numbers inside of the point, but they win their ones, and from there, Shotzzy has got a streak. Now moving into Cantina once more. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, man.
aBeZy for free, and now they've got a close spawn. Shotzzy and Dashy, they are here.
This is where OpTic can start to pull away with this game. You just have to win these gunfights to win this rotation over towards top Cantinas. As now all of Atlanta FaZe putting pressure on through the back alley. But there's only 3 players here from OpTic, and every single player finds a kill. The last player in Slasher, he drops. And what a perfect chain from OpTic Texas from 10 towards Cantinas is now going to force Atlanta FaZe to try to execute a break on one of the money hills on Mercado Hardpoint. OpTic are just growing this lead more and more as time goes. Shotzzy unfortunately does get turned on, and the break comes in for Atlanta.
And Jay, there's still 40 seconds. I mean, there's still 40 seconds for FaZe to have. I was getting ready to say that could be the hardpoint that pretty much ends out this series, and right on cue, FaZe able to stay alive. 20 seconds still left at Cantina, and Ghosty wants it. Right now for the Røkkr, they're trying to set up for new and be prepared for the parking lot, but FaZe able to make quick work of him. Still down in this game, but boy, does that lead look that much better, as they'll be down by 20 coming into this next hill. Can Texas hold once more, or is it going to be more chaos? I'm definitely assuming it is going to be the latter. Chaos indeed. Texas here early. Can FaZe make the break?
Yeah, Texas here early. It was good work out of Dashy and Ghosty to find those initial 2 kills when a teammate spawned all the way across the map. But it's Atlanta FaZe with pressure through every single angle, are able to find 3 kills. Last player up is going to be Shotzzy. You take care of him, you're able to get on that time. And now with your teammates spawning over towards back alley, you know exactly where OpTic are coming from. It's all about these gunfights. 30 seconds remaining and towards the parking lot.
Yep, FaZe are aware. They know exactly where every angle of a player going to be coming from. And when you're trying to make your way through this side of the map, it is just so difficult. Such long lanes of sight, as Huke eventually does get involved in the fight. Is there
beautiful rig pitch?
You will take that time, obviously, if you're Texas, but Atlanta did a good job off the start to at least not allow for that hard point to be a full 60 as we reset and fly back in now for the second side of rotations. 181 to 145. It is going to be a battle for the bottom side of the map once more, my friend.
Oh yeah, that's what it all comes down to, fighting for this green control. Not really soaking up a lot of this P1 time because you're thinking big picture. You want to get that better side for the next hill. And so far, OpTic are doing a great job of just slaying out to hold this positioning. Now they're able to get on towards P1. Shotzzy just finessing around towards back alley, finds another kill. They're putting them in the trap right now. If you are Atlanta, you got to break out, and they do a great job. They find all 3 kills, and now the spawns are going to flip. This is the best case scenario right now for Atlanta.
Every time Atlanta FaZe is in a spot where they cannot allow for another kill to go the opposite direction, they end up finding that timing, and now they are the ones who are in the more preferred spot. OpTic Texas have reached 190, but for Atlanta, this hard point last time around is what got Texas such a massive lead, and now it could come back to bite them. FaZe flipped the map on its head, and now they've got a chance to bring this one back. Toward the back alley we go. Cellium, turret-like, eventually drops. Two players.
Oh my!
It's Dashy and Shotzzy who are able to lead the way as they jump back in themselves, taking it effortlessly.
That's beautiful work from OpTic. Great coordination for everyone to attack through back alley. You win those trades, you find the opening, then you take down the last player on towards the point. They get the break on one of the money hills on Mercado hardpoint as Shotzzy flies around, finds two. And with only 25 seconds left, now you're going to force Atlanta FaZe. The two players that are here have to contest this, but everybody else has to rotate. And there's a couple players from OpTic trying to cause them problems already.
They are indeed. Ghosty, he could pretty much guarantee the game right here. As Huke goes flying forward, he's now out of the fight, and that's going to halt Ghosty's progress. So FaZe able to stay alive. Scrap points awarded to OpTic Texas. What's the number going to be? 238 to 158. One break is all it takes, and it could be off of this streak, Jay.
Oh, and the streak is used for the information. He's trying to let your teammates know exactly where they're coming from, but there's no trophy. No trophy. Shotzzy finds the kill. Huke finds another. Last player on the point is aBeZy. He goes big. He finds two. It's all on aBeZy. He's still staying alive. He finds all four. Oh my God.
How in the world did aBeZy just stay alive? Shotzzy threaded the needle, but aBeZy takes down the entire team. And with that, Texas a bit terrified, a bit dazed, realizing that that score did not improve based off of that hill. But still, 12 more points to go. Can Texas close it out now?
There's 12 more points. Just got to put yourself in the best setup you possibly can to hold down towards Barbers. You are getting those spawns. It's going to fall into the hands of the player that's sitting in towards top cantinas, cutting these players down. This is it. OpTic got a hold.
And they managed to do it. Simp, the first line of defense. Can he jump in? No, he does not. 5 more points. Is this going to be it for Texas? They find 3. They find 4. And there you go. Winners bracket bound. OpTic Texas comes away with the dub. And have your moment, Dan Ghosty. Have your moment, Texas, to talk all the smack that you want. Beating Atlanta FaZe again. It's becoming a hobby at this point. 2-0 on the season, and with that, OpTic Texas now have another life come major time.
What a performance from OpTic Texas, man. Talking about the roster change at the beginning of this stage has been up and down. You get a win, you get a loss, you get a win, you get a loss. But the most important one came in this series versus Atlanta FaZe. You had to get this W to secure that winners bracket at your own major. And they come out today, play absolutely lights out in all the respawns. Clutch up at the very end of these games. They fix the fundamentals going into today, and they get it done in 4, man. What a performance from both of these teams, but OpTic Texas just wanted a little bit more. They had that extra fire because they knew how impactful this series could have been. And they get it done, man. OpTic Texas secure their winners. They take the series. And what was a wild one, Lando. A wild one indeed, my friend.
Jay, just, my God. What a game, what a series. We said Texas are going to have to be flawless in the respawns, right? They're going to have to go 3 for 3. You're not going to match up well versus Atlanta FaZe in the search destroys, and they were able to do it. So many questions were on this OpTic Texas lineup. They're not going to be able to take down these top caliber teams. They're not going to even be able to show up today versus Atlanta FaZe. They come away with the dub. That has got to feel good for every single player that sits in the starting lineup. That's going to do it for myself and Jay. Another banger between OpTic and FaZe. Puckett, take it away.
No game 5 today, says OpTic, as they close it out with a 3-1. Taking the hard point to finish things out. Nameless, I want to start with you. We knew the pressure that was on OpTic today. Where did they come through?
I mean, everybody turned up, right? We look at the SMG duo. We didn't see any crazy fundamental breakdowns throughout this series. And this OpTic team, man, it just seems like when OpTic Texas, this organization, is going up against Atlanta FaZe, they play so much better. And we saw that in this series. Dashy, once again, in the respawns, puts up a huge performance. Also, like I said, the SMGs today, they were sound. Can they be consistent? It seems eerily similar as the last performance that we saw during the Stage 2 qualifiers. 4-1 with a big win over OpTic Texas, or with the big win over Atlanta FaZe, excuse me, going into the major, and they get it to secure winner's bracket. This is very important though, right? Like, they're going into their home major, and under this type of pressure, this is huge, sort of replicating what it's going to be like in front of that big.
And thank you, because now we get to see them on Thursday, right? Everyone was worried you're not going to see them until Friday in the losers bracket. We're guaranteed to see them on opening day of their own major.
Yeah, everybody, I think, took a giant sigh of relief at the end of this series. I bet the Scump co-stream did. I bet all the OpTic of the Green Wall did, the entire facility, even the team themselves, to secure themselves winners bracket heading into their own major. Because I don't think anybody wanted that situation, you know, heading into where we don't see OpTic playing on Thursday. And I have to tip my hat specifically to that map number 3. It is one of Texas's better controls, but like I said, going into this, they were the worst attacking team during this split. So to come out on a hot 3-0, that is a huge win for the OpTic Texas camp.
117,000 tuning in on the Call of Duty channel, and that doesn't include any of our watch parties. You can tell the fans are invested in this rivalry. We got to talk with the man who just clutched up for his squad. We got Huke joining us, and Huke, it is great to see you crushing and search and destroy again. Tell me about this series, though. You guys had all the pressure in the world. You lose, you're in the lower bracket. You win, you're playing in winners on Thursday.
100%. It was a big confidence boost for the squad, for sure. I mean, much needed win. I'm glad that, you know, everyone stayed, like, in our lane that match and just fucking teed up, right?
Yo, can you tell everybody to calm down?
I cannot hear anything you're saying.
You guys can hear everyone?
No, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
No, I'm fine.
It's okay. It's right to be excited after such a big win with so many implications, you know, especially the struggles that you guys have gone through. I want to talk to you about this series just because of that listening, that map win. First of all, one of the best hard points I think we've seen so far this season, one of the most intense. You guys clutched it up in the end. In the comms, I mean, you were screaming. What kind of energy was coming into this match?
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just like the vibe I've been on, I guess, recently. I'm having fun with these guys every single day, having fun getting better. So that's really all it is, just pure passion. That's literally it.
Huke, I want to ask you, and you mentioned like having fun, grinding in practice, stuff like that. You know, when a lot of times you guys have had your shortcomings, it's been some crazy plays where you guys are either ego challenging or just making some mistakes, and particularly with the sub duo with you and Shotzzy. What have you guys been working on or talking about after these matches to make sure that these things don't happen? Because today it looked like it was a little more cleaned up.
Yeah, I think it's just consistency in playing our game. I feel like whenever we're communicating well, none of that really happens. It's more using teamwork and shit like that. So we're a new team, so I feel like once we get more time, like all that stuff will feel way more smooth in game and look better. You know?
I hear everyone else still celebrating in the background. I gotta ask, who is most excited after that win tonight?
Definitely. I mean, Ant just had a huge game for us, so he's pumped up for sure. All
right, we will let you guys go celebrate. Excited to see you on the watch parties. I'm sure you'll be hanging out on the couch. Anything you want to say to the fans before they join you in person on Thursday?
Hey man, fucking Major III coming up. Get loud, man. Thank y'all. Yeah.
There we go. I don't know if we can use it in marketing, but I like the quote. Thank you, Huke, for joining us tonight.
All of production.
Absolutely.
Right when he dropped that.
It is so crazy to think we are just 4 days away from seeing this team on LAN. And here's a look at where they're at in the standings. Remember, top 8 starting winners bracket. 1 plays 8, 2 plays 7. And right now, if the LA Thieves and Breach didn't play, it would be the Thieves playing OpTic in the opening round, back-to-back majors, Ann.
I know this match is going to be lit, but I just got to say, nobody is more devastated at that loss than the Vegas Legion. My goodness, that's painful, man.
Sorry, Jim. We missed you, Clayster, in the winners bracket. Best of luck down there. Here we go, though. It's time to remind you all to pick up your gear before we get to Texas. It was snowing recently. You may want a hoodie. Rock your squad and go to shop.callofdutyleague.com HyDra.com. And of course, as always, if you're coming into my ranked lobby, you better be wearing one of these things. And I hope it's one on the left side, because I really like what I'm seeing out of the people rocking Subliners gears. Those SMGs on my team, they know what they do. They know where the next hard point's going to be. They make
Dress like HyDra, shoot like HyDra.
There we go. That's how it works. Excellent stuff so far. We have just one more match to go here in our Major 3 qualifiers. When we return, Boston is 3-1. Yeah, 3-1. They're challenging for a top seed as they take on the 3-1 LA Thieves. The final battle after this.
Yo, can I get this file, dude? This is cool. Oh, no, no, no!
Anyone should think of when it comes to Grim is winning. Lifting.
Oh, we got Bance, dude. No way.
Man, and day in and day out.
Dude, I might actually cry, bro.
2-0 up. We go to the bathroom. he's next to me and he goes, don't know why you're so happy. I'm about to reverse sweep you.
Damn. I appreciate it, guys. Love you guys.
So what's the plan? Same crew, but this time, we take everything.
Picked up 3 in a row, looking to take care of the entire squad, and he's done it. Long, here we go. Number 2. That's what we want. Oh my God! Drazah! It's all coming in. They haven't got the first thing, but yet Kenny on the flank. Kenny on the flank.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's Chris Puckett alongside Alley Cat and Nameless, and we are gearing up for the final qualifier battle before we head to Texas for OpTic's Major number 3 on the 2023 season. This one is going to be an excellent way to finish because it's between 2 squads battling for potential number 1 seed at that major. LA Thieves 3-1, Boston Breach 3-1. Let's start with the Thieves, though, Allie, because this is a squad that on land ran it all the way to the grand finals. Then they dropped their first match to Vegas. Since then, back-to-back-to-back victories.
I mean, what's insane about this story right now for me is the fact that LA Thieves is traditionally a team that always get better when we go to majors. You can always expect them to make a run long term. And what's crazy right now, though, is that they're doing well in the qualifiers as well. Like Chris just noted on, they're on a 3-win spree right now with a 3 over Minnesota, a 3-1 over Seattle, and a 3-1 win over the Atlanta FaZe. They got their revenge, and they're heading into a matchup right now where typically they are favored, undefeated up against the Boston Breach, and they're going against some similar maps as well.
We were talking in the green room the other night. If you had a 1v1 for your life, who do you want to be fighting that for you? Someone said Envoy, Nameless. What is it about this guy in Search and Destroy that you trust?
He's just icy, man. Like, the guy situationally, he's diff, dude. Like, he's making great plays. You can put him on an island, and he's going to get you that kill when you need it most, right? So Envoy brings a great dynamic to Search and Destroy, and what seems like this LA Thieves have fixed their Search coming into the stage.
There was a ton of energy from the Thieves after their last victory. Octane is celebrating with the squad, and that's what I like to see because they could be celebrating once again with the number 1 seed. I just got confirmation from League Ops if they get the win.
Huge.
The same is true for their opponents. Let's talk about Boston Breach because they're in this position once again. They didn't get it done for their last Boston Major. Now they could lock up a number 1 seed coming in here tonight. Allie, how does Owakening, Nero, Vivid, and Beans get the job done?
I mean, last time these 2 teams matched up, it went to a Game 5 round 11. That's back when Boston Breach was on like a 6-loss spree in Game 5s. And, well, they finally have one under their belt. And, you know, that's no slack to methods because the last time in that series, he did drop a 1.24. So some shoes to fill in the likes of Beans. But also in the sense of their Search and Destroy is looking a lot better in this situation as well. So I think the Boston Breach have a good opportunity right now. I'm just worried because they are off of a loss of Florida Mutineers, who's one of our not-so-good-looking teams to split.
All right, there you have it. Quick update from League Ops. If Boston wins, they're number 2. Seattle gets number 1. If LA wins, LA's number 1. Enough about numbers, though. It's time to get into the games as we have our